Hello students. Welcome to class. Our topic for today is addition and subtraction of sorts. Let us see what we have to learn today. By the end of this lesson, you should be able to 1. Simplify sorts. 2. Apply the rule of addition and subtraction in simplifying sorts. Follow me as we learn together. Before we move into our new lesson, let us refresh our minds on what we learned during our last lesson. We learned about rational numbers, which are numbers we can express as a fraction and also as positive numbers, negative numbers, and zero. We also talked about irrational numbers, which are numbers that cannot be expressed as a fraction because they do not have a recurring decimal when they are simplified. Also, we talked about sorts and its types. We said that sorts are the values in a square root that cannot be further simplified into whole numbers or integers. We also learned about the types of sorts, and they include the simple sort, the pure sort, the mixed sort, the compound sort, the binomial sort, and the conjugate sort. Next, we will look at simplification of sorts. Simplification of sorts. Sorts can be simplified if the number in the root symbol has a square number as a factor. Note: a square number is the result we get when we multiply a number by itself. For example, 5 multiplied by 5 is equal to 25. Also, 4 multiplied by 4 is equal to 16. Therefore, 25 and 16 are square numbers of 5 times 5 and 4 times 4, respectively. Also, a factor is a number that can divide another number evenly with no remainder. For example, 3 and 6 are factors of 12. Because 12 divided by 3 is equal to 4 exactly, and 12 divided by 6 is equal to 2 exactly. In order to simplify a sort, we must take note of the following. 1. Find a square number that is a factor of the number under the root. 2. Rewrite the sort as a product of this square number and another number. 3. Evaluate the root of the square number. 4. Repeat the process if the number under the root still has square factors. For example, simplify root 45. Solution: first, we look for a square number that is a factor of 45. Let's pick 9. Next, we will look for a number when multiplied by 9 will give us 45. Let's pick 5. Now, we simplify root 9 times root 5. Since 9 is a square number, we will find the square root of 9, which is 3. Because 3 times 3 is equal to 9. Therefore, our final answer is 3 root 5. Next, we will look at the addition and subtraction of sorts. We can add and subtract sorts when the number under the root symbols are the same. These are called like sorts. Remember, we learned that when two or more numbers under the square root symbol are the same, they are called like sorts. The rule for adding and subtracting sorts is that the numbers inside the square root must be the same. In other words, sorts can only be added or subtracted if they have the same radicand. That is, the same number under the root. A radicand, in mathematics, is an expression or any number written inside a root symbol. For example, in root 2, the radicand is 2. Also, in 3, root 5. The radicand is 5, etc. Now, in order to add and subtract sorts, we should take note of the following steps. 1. Check whether the terms are like sorts. 2. If they are not like sorts, simplify each sort as far as possible. 3. Combine the like sort terms by adding or subtracting. Let's take some examples. Example 1. Simplify 2 root 3 plus 5 root 3. Solution: since the numbers inside the roots are like sorts, we only have to add up 2 and 5. 2 plus 5 is equal to 7. Therefore, 2 root 3 plus 5 root 3, when simplified, is equal to 7 root 3. Let's take another example. Example 2, simplify 9 root 5 minus 6 root 5. Solution. First, we notice that the numbers under the roots are like sorts. Next, we subtract 6 from 9. 9 minus 6 will give us 3. Therefore, 9 root 5 minus 6 root 5 is equal to 3 root 5. Example 3. Simplify root 12 plus root 27. Solution. First, we look for a square number that is a factor of 12 and 27 respectively. Under root 12, we have root 4 times root 3. And under root 27, we have root 9 times root 3. Next, since 4 and 9 are square numbers, we find their square roots. Square root of 4 is 2, and square root of 9 is 3. Collecting like sorts, which is root 3. We add together 2 and 3, which will give us 5. Therefore, root 12 plus root 27 is equal to 5 root 3. That's very good. Let's take some assignments. Assignment. Write down the following assignments and try solving them yourself. Simplify the following sorts. Remember to take your time. And don't panic if you did not get it the first time. In conclusion, we have learnt 1. How to simplify sorts. 2. How to add and subtract sorts. Watch out for our next lesson, where we will talk about multiplication and division of sorts. Always remember, learning is a journey. See you in the next class. Thanks, and goodbye.